Welcome in. Thanks for stopping by again. On such short notice, we are back with another edition of IDP. This is the second leg in our double penetration week. This time we have a fairly grandpa rock heavy, some power pop, jangle pop, indie pop, etc. Remember, it is never too early for an ice cold beer and a long, stiff meat stick. So go ahead, help yourself, and let's get started. First up, we have the first new LP since 2002 for the Chapel Hill, North Carolina band called the Mayflies USA. The name of their new album is Kickless Kids. It's out on Yep Rock Records. Yeah, I mean, I guess they're the Mayflies USA because there's another band just called Mayflies or the Mayflies. At any rate, the Mayflies USA, they formed in the mid-1990s and then wound up breaking up, I think in the year 2002 after their third LP. Yes, they had 3 LPs in their initial run, the first 2 of which were produced by Chris Stamey of the DBs. He also guests on this record playing keyboards and percussion on, I think, 4 tracks. This is primarily a 1990s style power pop sound, a la people like Semisonic, Gigolo, Velvet Crush, but also with some distinctly like Americana vibes, at least on certain tracks, and I think reminiscent of someone maybe like the Jayhawks, maybe certain Wilco, things like that. Big hooks, it's feel good, power pop, beautifully crafted, some jangle, some rootsy, you know, really catchy, good stuff. Maybe you're looking for something a little bit make you feel good in these times. Anyway, that is the Mayflies USA, and their 4th full-length release just out on Yep Rock Records is called Kickless Kids. So similarly to the last record we just talked about, this is an album from a band that formed about 30 years ago. This is their 4th full-length LP. This is a German indie pop band called Brideshead, one word, Brideshead. And the name of the album is You Are the Light, which is out now on Shelflife Records. These guys formed in Wiesbaden, Germany, outside of Frankfurt. At least that's my understanding. They have a dreamy, jangly guitar pop sound, you know, in the Sarah Records style. Occasionally gets some slightly shoegazy guitars. The vocals are fairly twee, probably too twee for a lot of people. Has very sweet harmonies, super catchy indie pop song. You can hear shades of the Swedish indie pop band Eggstone, or maybe the Glasgow band Orange Juice, you know, sophisticated, sugary jangle pop. Yeah, indie pop kids out there that weren't familiar with Brideshead's work from before, maybe worth checking out some of those, but also maybe you might want to check out this new one as well. That is Brideshead, and the name of this album is You Are the Light.
I know what makes you so special and true. I know what makes me feel so ordinary. 'Cause when you smile, the whole world's turning wild, and
Next, we have the new LP from San Francisco Bay Area group that are called Now, like just the word now. The title of the album is Now Does the Trick. It's out on K Records and Perennial Records. This band features members of San Francisco area bands Cindy and Thunder Boys. I think naming your band Now is maybe, I would say maybe less than ideal, just from the standpoint of like trying to find information or, look them up. But who am I to say? Who am I to say? This is eccentric, lo-fi, glammy, weird indie pop. There are more than a few nods to bands like the Television Personalities, the Soft Boys, say like solo Syd Barrett. Also bears some similarities to the current, I think, Maryland area band Smashing Times as well. I think lo-fi, weirdo, psychedelic pop, maybe a fair way to describe it. There's definitely, in a few spots on the album, the Milwaukee band The Frogs came to mind. So maybe it's a little bit Frogs, the Frogs meets Television Personalities meets Ween meets T-Rex, something like that. This one took a little bit for me to get into the grooves with, but I did wind up coming around, and I do enjoy it quite a bit. Once again, that is the band Now, and the name of their album is Now Does the Trick.
Two Thursday afternoons at the picture show, watching you twist and shake. It's a gift if you learn us. Strike a match if you can. Come by the yacht when it hits you so hard. All those twist-tied knots, all the other stuffs.
All right, let's briefly talk about the 11th studio album from the legendary Stereolab. The name of the release is Instant Holograms on Metal Film. It's their first LP in about 15 years, and it's already fairly critically acclaimed straight out of the gate. There are countless, endless bands that are influenced by Stereolab, but really only Stereolab sounds like Stereolab. They have a very distinct stew of influences in their pot. I've already listened to this record 5 times. I've spent 5 hours with this record. I think this is a very good record. I think it'll take me a little more time to see ultimately how much I'm coming back to it over the course of the next, let's say, few months, throughout the rest of this year. But right now, when I put this one on, it just kind of feels like I'm sliding on a comfy old pair of jeans, perhaps. It just kind of feels good. There are people cooler than me, I would say like way cooler than me, that I've seen say that they only need 1 or 2 Stereolab albums, and those are the only Stereolab albums that they need to listen to. For those people, this album is probably just not for them. But if you're like me and you more generally love Stereolab, I think you will love spending time with this one. I will say there is definitely some political commentary in the lyrics, but I feel like someone that is maybe could or would be offended by them probably won't grok that that's what's happening. It's not necessarily banging you over the head, I would say. This is a 60-minute double vinyl LP, which I will say, in the year 2025, it seems like more albums clock in at 30 minutes than over 45 minutes. So I guess you could say this, maybe you could say this feels like it's a little long, but I also think it feels good. Yeah, so that is Stereolab. Their new album is titled Instant Holograms on Metal Film.